Sure. So as today we're just going to discuss about it's a Power BI demo session. So we'll try to understand what is Power BI, where actually we use this Power BI, and what is the architecture of Power BI. Right. So what is Power BI? So as per I can say the statement given by Microsoft, Power BI is a collection of tools or softwares provided by Microsoft Corporation for performing business intelligent activities. Performing some business intelligent activities, we use Power BI. So what is meant by business intelligence? Let's say, let me show you this some data, and then I'll talk about on business intelligence. Let's say I'll just going to open some data. Let's say I have a data somewhere around, I have somewhere around 9,000 plus records, and the information is about rows and columns information. Like I have a data in rows and columns, right? I have a data rows and columns information. So if I share the information with anyone, so for him it's difficult to understand what is there in this data, right? I mean, I wanted to analyze something on top of this data. I want to analyze the data on top of this, so it's very difficult for him to understand the data. So if I convert the same data in the form of visuals, let me show you the report. It's taking time to load the report. Okay, so if I convert the same report in the form of visuals, like in the form of this type of reports, in the form of this type of dashboards, then for me it's very easy to understand which which product is performing well, which region is performing well, right? I can understand easily. So instead of sharing the information, instead of this Excel file, like you can say rows and column information, if we convert the same data into in the form of visuals, so we call this process wherever we're converting our raw data into an actionable items. So then this process we call as a business intelligence. This process we call as a business intelligence. So Power BI is a collection of tools and softwares provided by Microsoft to performing business intelligence activities. Right. We'll talk about in detail. Right. So Power BI. Right here. Power BI. Now, Power BI is a self-serviced. Power BI is a self-serviced self-serviced it's a cloud based reporting, cloud based, few people will call as a reporting software, or it is also called as a data visualization software, or it's called as a data analytics software, or I can say it's a BI, business intelligence software, right? So in the market, so Power BI is called as a different names. So few people will call as a reporting software, few people will call as a visualization software, few of them call as a analytics software. And yes, as per Microsoft, it's a business intelligence software. It's a business intelligence software, right? Now, so where actually we use this Power BI? Where actually we use this Power BI? Let's say any company, let's say Amazon. Say any company, I can just get any company, let's say Amazon. So what Amazon does, so generally it's a e-commerce business, it does e-commerce business. So we place the order, right? We place the order, and at the end, what Amazon going to get? It's doing some business, right? It's doing some business. Is doing some e-commerce business. At the end of the day, it's going to get some business data, right? So to analyze this business data, let's say Amazon wanted to analyze what are my top products that people are interested to order. I wanted to understand which products people are not interested, showing not interesting on those products. If I provide some discount, is there then even if then my sales is will increase my sales. So Amazon wanted to understand this type of things. Fine. So any company, they do some business. At the end of the day, they are going to get some business data. So once you get the business data, they want to analyze the business data, right? So to analyze the business data, to analyze the business data, we can use Power BI. We can use Power BI, right? We can use Power BI. So how can we analyze the business data? By creating by creating reports and visuals. We will analyze the business data. By creating reports and visuals, we will analyze the business data, right? Now to analyze this business data, do we have only Power BI in the market? No, right? We also have other application to analyze the business data. To analyze the business data, we have Power BI, right? Tableau, ClickView, MSBI, right? MSBI, OBI, WE, Cognos, so etc. We have a couple of applications in the market. Then what makes difference between Power BI and other applications? So first thing, so on these applications, so all these softwares are categorized into two categories. Right here, all the above software are categorized into traditional software and self-service software. So these two, the above softwares, I mean, these are all BI applications. So these BI applications are categorized into two categories: traditional software and self-service software. So what is meant by self-service software? And when I say traditional, we'll come one by one. Okay, what is meant by traditional software? So when you say traditional softwares, like your MSBI, or you can say Cognos. So for this, so when you wanted to work these applications, so first thing is like you should good at coding. When I say coding, you should good at SQL. So coding is required. Coding is required. Coding is like what SQL is mandatory. SQL is mandatory. Without SQL, you cannot work with the traditional software. And second thing, complex to implement the business logic. So if you wanted to implement some a basic business logic, first thing you should write a code. You should write an SQL query. Then only you can able to implement that into your in the traditional softwares. And high maintenance cost. High maintenance. When I say high maintenance cost, once you create any reports using traditional software, we need to publish those reports into server. So when we are using traditional softwares, we need to publish the reports into server. Report server. When I say server, we should have an admin team, right? We need an admin team where the server has to be maintained by one team, admin team. So here admin team is required. Admin team is required, due to which the maintenance cost is high. Right? So if I'm using traditional software, then coding is required, SQL is mandatory, and it's complex to implement the business logic, and high maintenance cost. When I say high maintenance cost, after creating a reports, we need to publish those reports into report server. So to maintain this report server, we need admin team. So to maintain the admin team, it's like a little costly, right? So that's why it's like a traditional software, or maintenance cost is high when we use this traditional softwares. Now, similarly, we have a self-service software, right? So what is mean by self-service software? So when we say self-service software, you can write here with the help of any software, if we are able to complete the work with drag and drop, drag and drop, point and click, we call as self-service self-service software, like Power BI. Power BI comes under self-service software. So here, first thing is coding is not required. Coding is not required. No coding means no SQL. If you know SQL, you can write SQL query, but it's not mandatory. But the previous one, traditional software, SQL is mandatory. SQL is mandatory, right? Now coding is not required. No SQL, right? Easy to implement. Easy to easy to implement the business logic. Easy to implement the business logic. Fine. So as we don't need any coding, we can happily implement the business logic. So in Power BI we have powerful functions called DAX functions, which is very easy. So with the help of that, yes, we can implement the business logic. And low maintenance cost. Low maintenance cost. When I say low maintenance cost, what actually it means? Like here, once we create a reports using Power BI, so we publish, we publish the reports in cloud services. Cloud services. So when I say cloud services, we no need to have any admin team. The admin team is not required. We can publish those reports on cloud services, and we can access the reports via internet. Via internet. Fine. So that's why low cost maintenance, low maintenance cost. So that makes the difference between your traditional software and self-service software. So first thing, in self-service software, we no need to have any coding. We can easy to implement the business logic, low maintenance cost. So that's why people are preferring self-service softwares, right? Like as I said in the previously, Power BI is also called as a reporting software. So what is in the reporting software then? So reporting software is nothing but presenting the data. Reporting is nothing but, I can say here, reporting is nothing but presenting the data in a structured format, we call as reporting, we call as a reporting, right? Like in this data, I have order ID, order date, then each, like just like a similar to your e-commerce data. So we have a order ID, order date, and then from which city we are getting the order, and which state that we are getting the order. And then we have here some sales we have. So I want to create a report. I want to create a report. I want to create a report. I want to understand each state wise. I want to understand my sales. I want to understand my sales. So yes, we can create this type of a report in Power BI very easily, very easily. We just take a, only with the help of clicks, we can generate this report. Right. So I'll just show you how I will show you how we can create this report. So presenting the data in a structured format, we call as a report. We call as a reporting. Yes, with the help of Power BI, we can create a reports. We can create a reports. And I said like it's a called as a data visualization software. What is mean by data visualization? Data visualization is nothing but presenting the data, in a graphical format. Graphical format we call as data visualization. Data visualization, right? So in other BI tools, other data visualization softwares, you may see maximum 50 visuals. But coming to Power BI, data visualization software, you will see 250 visuals. So when I say visualization, presenting the data in a graphical format, like here we have a data rows and columns. If I convert the same data in the form of graph, in the form of charts, in the form of visuals, so this will very easy to understand, right? I mean, even in our phones, if I have a text documents, for text documents, it's for us to read the text document, understand text documents, it will take some time. But if I show the same text document in the form of pictures, then we can easily understand the what information, we can easily convey the information, correct? Same thing, what we are doing, we are converting this rows and column information only, but in the form of pictures, in the form of visuals, in the form of charts, right? So uh, presenting the data in the graphical format, we call it the data visualization. So Power BI is also called as a data visualization software, right? So like I said, other data visualization, you can see 50 visuals, but coming to Power BI, we have 250 visuals. I will show you where actually you can see all the 250 visuals. And as I said, like, it's also called as a data analytics software, right? Data analytics. So when I say data analytics, what is meant by data analytics? I can write here, with the help of any software, with the help of software, if we are able to analyze the data, we call as data analytics software. Like in this report, in this raw data, I have a order date, now I wanted to analyze how my year on year, each year on year, how my sales are performing, whether it is increasing or decreasing, I want to understand with the help of this I date column, right? I want to understand what are my top products, what are my top products my performing well, and I want to understand what are my bottom products. I want to understand what are my bottom products, right? So you wanted to analyze this type of data. Yes, with the help of Power BI, we can easily analyze the data. With the help of Power BI, because we can analyze the data very easily, right? And as I said, like, it's a BI software, business intelligence software. So what is meant by business intelligence? Business intelligence, basically BI is a process where we will convert the business data into actionable actionable information. Like as I said, so BI is a process where we will convert the business data. So this is my business data, I'm getting order ID, order date, which state, which city, product name. So I'm getting my business data. So what we are doing, we are converting this business data into this actionable items. I mean, we are converting that business data into, in the form of actionable items. So I can understand from here, okay, I can see, okay, this particular category, this is my top product, this is my bottom product. I mean, okay, this product is not performing well, so I can take some decision on top of this, right? And I can understand, okay, which category is giving me a good amount of sales, which category is subcategory is not performing well. We can easily understand with the help of when we are converting our raw data in the form of visuals. So we can take some actions on top of that, right? So BI is a process where we will convert the business data into actionable information, right? Fine. Next, we will try to understand about the architecture of Power BI. Let's say an architecture of Power BI. So in Power BI basically, Power BI, as I like initially I said, Power BI is a collection of your tools or softwares. So Power BI desktop, Power BI, so basically Power BI is divided into two categories, I will say. First, we have Power BI desktop and Power BI services. Power BI desktop and Power BI services. Now this Power BI desktop, like here, you can say here, Power BI desktop and Power BI services. We have two things, Power BI desktop and Power BI services. Let me write this thing first and we'll try to understand all these things. So as I said, Power BI is the Power BI is a collection of softwares. So first one, Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop. So in Power BI desktop, so what is Power BI desktop? So we use this Power BI desktop for development purpose. It's a development software. It's a development software. So 80 to 90% of the time, 80 to 90% of the time, we spent only on Power BI desktop. We spent only on Power BI desktop, right? In this Power BI desktop, we have Power Query. Power Query. So Power Query is Power Query is an ETL software. ETL software. So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load, right? Then B, Power Pivot. Power Pivot. I'll talk about all these things. Power Pivot. Power Pivot is a database where we will create an OLAP. OLAP, or I can say here set, data set model. Then you have Power View. Then you have Power View. So Power View is used to create reports and visuals. To create reports and visuals, we use Power View. Fine. So first one, we have Power BI desktop. So generally, when we wanted to create any reports and visuals, so this is nothing but my Power BI desktop. This is nothing but Power BI desktop. So as a developer, 80 to 90% of the time we spent only on Power BI desktop. So what we will do in Power BI desktop, we create this type of reports. We create this type of reports. So we create this type of reports. If you want to create any report, I'm just if you want to create any type of reports, right? And if you wanted to create any type of reports, yes, we can go with the Power BI desktop. So we use this Power BI desktop to create the reports, right? So in this Power BI desktop, we have three softwares. The first one, we have Power Query. Power Query. So Power Query is an ETL software. So what actually it means? So let's say we have a Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop. So this tab contains Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View. So Power Query. So as I said, like initially, as I said, every every business, they generate some business data, right? They generate some business data. So what we do, we need to connect that business data to create some reports and visuals, correct? So let's say you have a business data. So that's there in business data in Excel file or SQL server or Oracle server or any other database So we use this Power BI desktop. In Power BI desktop, we have a software called Power Query. Power Query. So what we can do with the help of Power Query, we can connect this Power Query. In Power Query, we can connect your Excel data, your SQL data, your Oracle data. I mean, nothing but your business data, basically. So we are extracting, correct? We are extracting the data. We are extracting the data from business other sources. We are extracting the data. We are extracting the data. So ETL, I said like ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Power Query is a ETL software. Power Query is a ETL software. So in Power Query, we connect to the business data. We connect to the business data and we extract the business data. We extract the business data into Power Query. Fine. So after that, what we are going to do, we will apply it. We have option called a transform. So when I say transform is nothing but, let's say you have a mobile name, let's say you have a mobile number and a name together, mobile number name together. Now you wanted to separate, mobile number should be in one column, name should be in another column. You want to divide this into two different columns. Yes, we can perform this type of transformations on Power Query. I will show you on Power Query. Fine. I mean, we use this Power Query to extract the data and to clean the data. I will say, to clean the data, then we use this Power Query. After cleaning the data, we need to load. So we need to load the data into Power Pivot. We need to load the data into Power Pivot. Fine. So on Power Pivot, what we are going to do? So on Power Pivot, we are going to create some data set. We are going to create some data set. What is meant by data set then? So data set is nothing but, let's say you have uh, uh, you have two tables. Let's say you have two tables. You have two tables, table one and table two, table one and table two. Fine. So you wanted to connect these two tables. You want to connect these two tables. Let's say I need two columns from this table and three columns from this table. Two columns and three columns. Fine. Then I want to create my report. I want to create my report. So what we can do, we can create this relationship. We can create this relationship in Power Pivot. So Power Pivot will help us to creating the relationship between the tables, creating the relationship between the tables, and on top of that we can create a report. On top of that we can create a report. So if you wanted to create some relationship between the tables, then we need to go for Power Pivot. We have to go for Power Pivot. So not only this relationship, even in Power Pivot, what we can do, we have a powerful functions called DAX functions. DAX functions. So we write all these DAX functions in Power Pivot. We write DAX functions in Power Pivot. So in Power Pivot, if you want to implement some business logic, yes, we use Power Pivot. We use Power Pivot, right? So after your data set is ready, so we use the same data set in Power View. So we use this Power View for what? Visuals, to creating some information, to creating some reports and visuals. We use Power View. We use Power View, right? Then after creating all these reports, so in Power BI desktop we have three softwares: Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View. Right. Now, after creating all these softwares, then after creating visuals, then we need to publish. Then we need to publish this report into either in Power BI services or report server. So I'll talk about these two things. So most of the companies, 98% of the companies, they are using Power BI services. They are using Power BI services. Fine. So on services only, we publish the reports on services, and we share the link. We share the link with our clients. We share the link with our clients. Right. I'll just show you one by one. So we'll talk about first Power BI desktop. Let's say I want to load this data. I want to load this data. I want to connect this data into my Power Query. So once like I have already have Power BI desktop. So I'm just going to open this Power BI desktop. Now I wanted to load that Excel file. So I'll just go to, now I just click on this transform data. Now as of now I can see only one window. So I have only one window, right? Now if I click on transform data, it is going to open a new window. It's called as a Power Query editor. Now you can see we have a new one more window. It's called as a Power Query editor, right? It is like a Power Query editor. Power Query editor. Now we have two things. We have two windows now. Power Query editor. Like as I said, Power Query. Power Query is a in ETL software, extract, transform, and load. Power Query is an ETL software. What we can do, we can extract any type of data. We can extract Excel data, SQL data, Oracle data, or any other business data, any other business data. So what we are going to do now, I wanted to extract Excel file. So I'll just go ahead and select my Excel file. So I wanted to load my Excel file. I'll just select my Excel file so that I can load that into my Power Query. Yes, I want to load my data. I'm just selecting a table, whichever I wanted to load. Fine. So we just loaded the report, we just loaded the data. So we have extracted the data, right? I have, you can see here order ID, order date. I mean, whatever we have there in an Excel file, I can see all the data, right? I can see all the data. So what we have done, we have extracted the data. Then we can perform some transformations. So when I say transformations, what actually it means? Let's say, I have on this data, I have customer name. So it is showing in a proper case. I want to convert this into an uppercase. Then yes, I can convert. I can say transform. I can say uppercase. So it'll automatically convert into an uppercase, right? I can convert it. Now here we have a order date. I don't want a complete data. I just need only year. I just need only year. Then yes, we can convert it. We can convert this type of data. You can say here year, select year. So we can convert this into an years, right? So whenever you wanted to apply, you wanted to modify the existing data, so as per the business request, as per the business requirement, yes, we can perform all these transformations in Power Query, all these transformations into Power Query. So whatever we have applied the uppercase and then converting this date into year, so these are nothing but these are called as a transformations, these are called as a transformations. So these are nothing but transformations. Then we have option called load option. So what is meant by load then? So we have extracted the data, Excel data we have extracted, we have performed some transformations. So I wanted to load this data. I mean, whatever we have applied some transformations. So I have cleaned my data. I wanted to load this data into my Power Pivot. So when I say Power Pivot, we just need to click on close and apply. So once we click on close and apply, data is going to be loaded into my Power Pivot. Like as I said, when you say load, the next level, next phase of this my Power BI desktop, next software that we have is Power Pivot, right? So it's going to be load into my Power Pivot. Right? It just got loaded. It just got loaded the data, right? It just got loaded the data. Now you can see, so when I say Power Pivot, when I say Power Pivot, what is Power Pivot? So in Power BI, so these two tabs, this model tab, there's an option called model tab, where you can create a relationship between the tables. As of now we have only one table, but you have another table where we can create a relationship between the tables. Like say you have one more table, table 2, and you wanted to create this relationship between the table, then you can go for this model tab, right? So this model tab and we have a data tab. These two together, model tab and a data tab together, we call as a Power Pivot. Power Pivot. We call as a Power Pivot. So on Power Pivot, what we can say, we can create a relationship. We can create a relationship. Now, for example, here I have uh, let's say I have a sales, right? So I wanted to create a one more column. I want to multiply my sales into quantity. I want to create a one more column. I want to multiply sales into quantity. So as of now, we don't have that column. I want to create it. Then yes, I can go ahead and create. I can go ahead and create a column. I can write. I can write here. So whatever we are writing, this is nothing but it's a part of your DAX. So if I hit enter, so I can create a new columns in the report. So basically this column is not there. This column is not available on my raw data, right? On my Excel file, this column is not there. So we have created this column. We have created this column. So whenever you wanted to create any new column, this is my requirement. My business wanted to understand what is my sales into quantity. If I perform sales into quantity, I just need a column, a new column where I wanted to understand sales into quantity. Fine. So this type of calculation can be done on data tab, nothing but it's a Power Pivot. So like as I said previously, Power Pivot we can create a data set. We can create a data set. Data set is nothing but it's just like a creating your model, data model. Like here modeling, you wanted to create some relationship, yes, we can create a relationship. And you wanted to add some additional columns, yes, we can go ahead and add additional column to this, right? And at the end, power view. So whatever relationship that we create, we just load the same data into our power view. So we use power view for what? For visuals, to creating the visuals, to creating the reports, we use power view. Let's say I want to create a report, I want to understand each say state wise what is my sales, I want to understand. So what I can do, I can just come to my report tab. So this report tab we call as a power view. Just report tab, click on this report tab, and I want to create a report where I want to showcase my state-wise sales, right? So I can just drag and drop. I just need to drag and drop. Like previously I said, it's like a drag and drop. You just need to drag and drop which field you wanted to showcase on the report, right? Just loading. Like you can see here, state-wise sales, state-wise sales. I can easily create a report on top of that, right? So it's also called as a reporting software. Now I wanted to create some visuals. I wanted to showcase which product is having highest sales. Then I can select a visual. I can select any visual. I can select a visual. I just need to drag and drop product name, and we'll say here sales, right? Okay, this is a product where I can see maximum sales are coming from so and so product, so and so product, right? We can easily convert any visual, any we can easily create a visuals on the Power BI. And I want to analyze the data. Let's say I want to see year on year how my sales are performing, year on year how my sales are performing. I can take one line chart. I can just drag and drop, and this drag and drop this order date, or I can say ship date, and we say here sales. Now it automatically showcase you like how my sales are performing on year on year, right? Now I wanted to understand further. If I expand it 2018, then you can see here next level. I want to go for next level. To go for next level, we can easily understand. Go quarter wise, then month wise, right? Then I can come back previous quarter, previously year on year. So we can easily analyze the data in Power BI, right? So this is how it will work. So Power Query to extracting the data from services. So if you want to extract your business data, then we use Power Query. It's work as a extract, transform, and load. And then you have a Power Pivot where you can create a data set, and we load the data into Power View. We load the data, and can say we after creating the data set on Power Pivot, then we use Power View to create a reports. Fine. So we just created a reports. We created a reports, right? We created reports. Then after creating, we need to share how come my client will check this reports then what next comes under publish. We have a two options. Either we can use Power BI services or Power BI report server. Power BI services or Power BI report server. So what is the difference between these two things, Power BI service and Power BI report server? So Power BI report service, Power BI services. So Power BI service, so what is this Power BI service? Power BI service. Power BI service. So Power BI service is nothing but it's a Azure cloud-based server. It's Azure cloud-based server which is used for share reports and visuals to clients. Visuals with clients. So 98% of the companies, 98% of the companies, I can say clients, they are using they are using Power BI services. Power BI services. So when I say Power BI services like this, so we have So what we can see the reports, what we can see the reports. So this is like nothing but your Power BI services, Power BI services. So it's a Azure cloud based services, Azure cloud based services. When I say cloud based services, we can access the reports via internet. Via internet we can access the reports. So when we create these reports, we need to publish those reports. We need to publish those reports into Power BI services. We need to save the report and publish. We need to save and we need to publish those reports into Power BI services. Power BI services. So once we publish the report on Power BI services, what we can do, we can share these reports. There is option called share option. We can share these reports with our clients. We can share them with our clients. So what they can do, they can just click on this link. Once we click on share, they are going to get a link. They just need to click on the link and they can view the report. They can view the report, right? So Power BI services where we can access the reports via internet, and we can also publish those reports. We can also publish those reports either in Power BI services, and the second one we have is the report server, Power BI report server. So what is meant by report server? So like if you are, we can also publish those reports into a report server. So report server is nothing but it's a on premises server. Power BI report server. It's just like a on premise server which is used for share reports and visuals, right? So 2% of the clients, 2% of the clients still they are using report server. So when I say report server, on premise server, when I say on premise server, it's nothing but your server is available within the office. Server available in office, right? I can say it within the office area, within the office. So whenever we need to connect the reports, whenever we need to access the report, first thing we need to connect. We need to connect with office network, office network, network, and access the reports. So the difference is what? So here, when we are in Power BI services, we can access the report via internet. But when we are in report server, first thing we need to connect with office network. Then only we can able to access the reports. That's the difference, right? But I said most of the companies they are preferring Power BI services only because no need to have a connect with office network. If you have access to the report, you can access via internet. Via internet, you can access the reports, right? Now, fourth one that we have is Power BI mobile, Power BI mobile, Power BI mobile. So it's a mobile application. It's a mobile application which is used to viewing the reports and visuals in mobile phones. So on mobile phone, if you wanted to see your reports, then we need to have mobile Power BI mobile application. It's just like an app. So we need to install app on our mobile to see the reports, to see Power BI reports on our mobile application. Right. So then we have a Power BI mobile app. Right. Like and like as I said, like Power BI. Like in data visualization software, other visuals we have only 50 visuals, but coming to Power BI we can see 250 visuals. You can see 250 visuals. So where we can see this 250 visuals. So on Power BI you can see that visualization. As of now I can see hardly 20 plus, right? But if you click on this more option, you'll have couple of visuals. I mean, you can name it, you can see that visual. We can show the data in a, all different I can say different way of we can present the data on different way. So you can select it. If you select some data advanced analytics, then you have couple of there's a lot of, I mean say there's a lot of visuals that you have. You can select it whichever we wanted to showcase. You can select it and you can say here add. So that visual is going to be added on, add on your report, add on your report. Right. So like this, I mean, you have a couple of visuals on Power BI compared to other visualizations. So like if you take any other visualization, you can see hardly 50 visuals maximum. But coming to Power BI, you will have 250 plus visuals. Right? So overall, the architecture of Power BI. So overall, the architecture of Power BI. So Power BI contains Power BI Desktop, Power BI Services. In Power BI Desktop, we have three: Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View. So we use Power Query to extract the. We use Power Query, extract, transform, and load. Power Query is a ETL software. It will perform extract, transform, and load. Extracting the data from, extracting your business data, extracting your business data into your Power Query, and then it will apply, it will clean the data, it will clean the data, and it load the data into your Power Pivot. Power Pivot. Fine. After loading the data in Power Pivot, what we'll do, we will create a data set. When I say data set, is nothing but a relationship, correct? We create some relationship between the tables, and we will wanted to add some enhancing the data model. If you wanted to implement your business logic, so with the help of DAX functions, yes, we can we can add a DAX functions in Power Pivot, and we can add our business logic. Fine. After implementing the business logic, we will use the same data into Power View. Power View to creating reports and visuals. Fine. After creating a reports, we need to share with our reports. So how can we share? We can share with the help. We can have a two ways. Either we can share with the Power BI services or Power BI report server. So most of the companies, they use Power BI services. It's a cloud-based services, and Power BI report server is a on-premises server. Fine. So most of the clients, they are using only Power BI services. After publishing the reports, we will share the reports with our clients to view the reports. Fine. So guys, any questions? You got the idea?